So a little background behind this page. I actually started off on TikTok right after the 2020 election. And like anything else, obviously my first videos weren't the best. There was like a little Lost X concert on Roblox. I was running around dancing with him. That did not age well. And then I started covering some news stories, and then I did the thing with Sarah Fuller, that chick who went to the D1 college and kicked an extra point, and then like a horrible regular kickoff, and everybody thought it was awesome. I'm like, no, dude, that was a 20-yard kick. Then they tried calling it a squib kick, and then I called it a terrible squib kick. And sports was really nothing I ever wanted to cover, but I mean, I played football and baseball, so I know enough of them to do it. So then I started doing that, so you have sports, news, and then like I started doing stuff from like history, and then like every now and again I'd react to like viral videos and stuff. And like the reason that I'm like a little cartoon, I was more a cartoon than Roblox. It wasn't so much Roblox specific. I could make a little character on Roblox and it was easy, so I did. And then I found this little room, so I went in here, sat my little guy down, started recording. It had nothing to do with Roblox, and I'm so glad now that I have longer than a minute. See, like I'm already at a minute. I can't explain all of this in a TikTok video, which explains why my voice is like this. It's because I had to speed it up because a 70-second rant can be a 59-second rant when it's sped up 1.2%, which is what South Park uses, which is why I sound a lot like the characters. So like I can kind of grandfather that in from TikTok. That's just my character. Obviously, I'll go live for the face reveal, voice reveal. Like people, like I'm not that hot. I don't know why you guys want to see my face that bad. I'm not that hot, I promise. The only thing that will age kind of weird is probably the mask that my character is wearing. Because like his little face is ugly, and like I can't make his mouth move. So if I put the mask on, it's just natural. Screw it. I'm just gonna have this guy. He's just gonna have the mask. And one nickname I got from TikTok right away was Roblox Ben Shapiro, which doesn't make any sense because I'm like center, tilt right, and that dude is like straight Republican. I have a feeling it's my guy's little eyebrows. They look like Ben Shapiro's eyebrows. That and like maybe the suit. So my job in the 2015 Democratic primary was for Bernie Sanders. And when he first started off, it was kind of like this weird, okay, he's the longest serving independent senator. We're gonna try to win over left-leaning independents. I'm over here center, tilt to the right. Back then I was probably like dead smack in the middle. So they hired me pretty much knowing, they're like, okay, yeah, no, you're gonna be like the right-wing dude, pretty much. And the office that I worked at, everybody except for like 3 of us were brand new. So I had this like canvas captain position to where I was like driving all of the canvassers around to their sites. I had the little clipboards for them. I'm like, okay, go and knock on all the doors. Here's a list of voters. You got to take a poll of who's voting for who. Go sit at a Dunkin' Donuts somewhere, overdose on coffee till they were done, give them a ride back. Sometimes I had to go out and canvass. So when Bernie first started off in 2015, he was talking about how like the government was simping for China, how corporations could pay off politicians. Our borders are wide open, and if the world's poor comes to America, it makes our poor poorer. We're sick of all the wars, and our veterans are being screwed over. Those are all things that both Trump and Bernie ran on at the time. So my job was to try to comb off as much as I can in an open primary state to, hey, look, even if you're going to vote for Trump in the general, there's this dude, keep an eye out on him. He sounds a lot like Trump. He's an independent, but he caucuses with the Democrats. And independents from my state were pretty split with him. So obviously it didn't work. He didn't get the nomination either time. And in 2019, 2020, the Democratic Socialists of America screwed Bernie over because they were like, oh, we want more voices. We want more representation. So the Democratic primary was full of people who were simping for them when that was Bernie's crew. So Bernie's crew was split up between him and everybody else, and then Biden took the seam right up the middle. And then one by one, it was like they boxed him out. One by one, they all dropped him out and endorsed Biden, gave Biden all of their delegates. Bernie's sitting there going, wow, Elizabeth Warren, you're to the left of me. How are you endorsing Biden? She held out, but she ended up endorsing him in the end. And I tell them that, and like a lot of them get pissed. And it's like, who are you to get pissed in that situation? You're somebody who voted for Elizabeth Warren and then turned around and had your vote handed to Biden. Then you turned around and voted for Biden in the general, didn't you? Like I never thought I'd be in a situation where I just like leave the Democrat Party altogether. Like I'm not working for you in 2020. And then I turn around and go, hey, Bernie got screwed over again, and I bet you if you ask him, he would agree. And then they get pissed off at me. So it's like, okay, do you guys hate Bernie now? Like none of this makes any sense. And where they really started losing me, where they really started losing the plot, was when Bernie said white people don't know what it's like to be poor. It's like, Bernie, you represent Vermont. That's like 98% white. And admittedly, I'm from a state that is very, very predominantly white. So, I mean, we talk about equality, we talk about this, that, and the third, and when it came time to it, we applied it, not knowing how the Democrats treat minority communities in other parts of the country. It's awful. The whole voter ID thing, like, okay, where I'm from, everybody needs their ID to vote, everybody has their ID. I had no idea they opposed voter ID because they thought that minorities don't have access or can't find the DMV, or even have access to the internet. What the hell is that? That's like inhumane racism. So to make that worse, it's been proven that white leftists talk down to minority voters. So they use that, and they try to use the emotional exploitation of calling it Jim Crow 2.0 in concentration camps and using these absolutist words to try to provoke them emotionally because they don't see minorities as people they can sit down and go, look, I think healthcare, it would be worth it if we just raise taxes X amount, everybody gets healthcare, it's going to be worth it in the long run. Like, they can't make arguments like that. They have to say it's Jim Crow, you have to vote for me because I'm not the bad guy. That's not dirty politics, that's being a piece of shit. Dirty politics is blocking a Supreme Court justice and then confirming one with like 4 days left in a presidency. That's dirty politics. That's something you need to expect. Packing the courts because you didn't get your way? Trying to get the voting age lowered to 16 because not enough voting age Americans can buy into your leftist utopia, your fake fantasy world that's not going to play out for longer than a few months. Not enough people want to buy that, so you have to lower the voting age so you can prey on kids. The pendulum is going to swing back one day, and all of these people who are trying to hop out in front of it, trying to out-left one another, they're just going to fall off that cliff, and they're never going to be relevant in politics again. They're going to go the way of QAnon, and I hope it happens soon, because they're causing a lot of damage. That just about sums it up. So go ahead and follow me on TikTok, at Bloxcast. Shout out to the real ones over on TikTok, you guys know who you are. Be sure to like, subscribe, and remember, Kamala Harris never celebrated Kwanzaa.